Just saw your last video. Feels good to be the team that ended your season. Alright, don't give yourself too much credit. I wouldn't say you ended it, but you could probably say you're the straw that broke the camel's back. You must be frustrated. Sexually? No. I have a very healthy sexual appetite. Thank you for your concern, though. No, about your hockey team. No, I don't really find any of them attractive, though I do think it's a good-looking bunch. Frustrated that your team isn't winning more. We've won 3 of 4. Yeah, in 3 of your last 10. When you hit rock bottom, you can only go up. You could definitely go deeper. You know, I've never heard that phrase in my life, ever. Are you screwing with me? Yes, but for a good reason. Hey, why is that? I'm proud of you. All this joking around is just me trying to have a little fun, but man, you've been chasing for a long time, and here you are. I mean, you really do deserve to have others proud of you. And more importantly, you deserve to be proud of yourself. Wow. Thanks, man. I don't know. I actually kind of needed that, so I appreciate. That was really nice. That was really nice. It was. Now, would you please trade me Kachuk for Elias Lindholm? What? No. Absolutely not. What, so I was nice to you for nothing? Get out! I hope you lose your next 10, you Canadian fuck. There's something wrong with you, dude. There's something really wrong with you. Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. That is a dub. Against the Sharks, team's fixed. We fixed it. Everything's fine. We beat the Sharks. We can beat anybody else. It's still a win, you know? We take the wins. We like the wins. The wins are fun. What a game. What an interesting game. Man, Askarov is really cool. I know he let in 4, but holy crap. Some of the saves he was making were nutty. They were nutty. I was at work for this game, but luckily I was able to watch the large majority of it. But again, because I can't really take notes as well, we're going to just kind of have more of a discussion about this. I am sorry that this is kind of the way we're doing it, but it's just a slightly different style is all. The San Jose Sharks are cheeks. They are, and that's okay because they want to be. They have 1,000 injuries right now as well, which certainly isn't helping. But again, they aren't exactly trying to win games anyway. Hence moving Blackwood out for Georgiev not long ago, which, is having the desired effect. Celebrini looks awesome, which is really kind of the only thing that matters this season, along with a few other young guys looking good, Will Smith being one. Excellent player. They rank 26th on the power play, 16th on the penalty kill, 30th in goals for, and 31st in goals allowed. They are a bad team. That's okay. It's by design. The Bruins are going to go into this game with a little bit of a different look. They'll go Geeky Zakapasta. They'll go Marchand, Patra, Coyle. They'll go Wallstrom, Lindholm, Lettieri, Brazeau, Beecher, Kostelic, Zadorov, Peak. Waterspoon, Carlo, Zadorov, Peak, and then Lorai Osterley. Korpisalo gets the net. Kepke, Lindholm, McAvoy, all still out with injuries. Frederick is also out due to an illness. Here's the thing about the lineups. Elias Lindholm, is on our third line. I think this was like 6 or 7 weeks ago now that I said, hey, it looks like he's just going to be a Coyle. Like, if we had 2 true centers on this team, Lindholm would permanently be fixed to the third line. This might be the life of his contract. His 7-year massive contract might be spent on the third line. Which, the money spent, the player's almost impossible to move. Like, if that's, just find a home for him. The same thing with Zadorov. The money's spent. You're not going to be able to move off the contract unless you give up a bunch of assets to do that, and it's not smart for this team to take that route. So, like, just find a home for him. And Lindholm belongs on the third line until his play drastically improves. And it's starting to get to the point where I'm watching shifts from this guy, and he had some nice moments in this one, actually, so this is a little unfair. But there are some shifts where I'm sitting there like, has this guy just given up? Is he just done already in the first 50 games of his 7-year contract? Like, has he just already quit? Because the amount of shifts I watch now where he's just like, whoop, whoop, gone? My goodness. Anyway, the third line is where he belongs, and the third line is where he should stay. And no one should be like, but the contract. I don't give a damn. It's the contract's the contract. The money's already spent. Find a place he belongs. And right now, Patra and Zacha belong above him on the depth chart as far as centers go. There's no debating that, in my opinion. That's how bad Lindholm's been. Zadorov should never be on the first pair, but that's a whole different conversation. We're going to talk about this game a little bit. There's a couple moments I did jot down something about while watching the game, kind of mentally jot down. But midway through the first period, score is still 0-0, and Geeky gets a great chance. Pasta to Geeky on 2v1. Geeky shoots it center mass. Askarov makes a great save, don't get me wrong, but if Geeky even shoots to the far side, or his near side, I guess, that's a goal 100 times out of 100. And he just shoots center mass right in the dead center of the net, and it gets saved. Classic Geeky. And then, just, a minute later, Osterley just throws a puck wide of the net, clearly going wide. And Lindholm, one of his bright spots this game, is battling in front of the net, preventing a defenseman from getting in front of that. And then, behind him, Lettieri is there to tip this puck, and he tips it in. It beats Askarov off the tip. It's 1-0. You feel great, right? All right, we got a lead against one of the worst teams in the league. You feel great. You feel normal. You're like, okay, good. At least we didn't let in the first one. And then around 7 or 6 minutes left. What was this, man? Zadorov, what was this? Puck gets dumped into our zone. We have 3 guys back. We have 3 guys closer to that puck than a Sharks player. But the Sharks are going to come in on the forecheck. Zadorov is by far the closest Bruin to skate down and get that puck. He just skates up along the wall. He's waiting for Peak to get there, speedy Peak, to get there and hurdle it up the wall so he can get the clearance, right? It's not a stat padding thing. It's just that's the play he decided was the smart thing to do in his head. So the Sharks get there first. Zadorov isn't defending anyone. He's just on the wall. And they pass it to a trailing trailing second player who gets a wide open chance of the slot and beats Korpisalo. What is that? I mean, it's some of this stuff that's so brutal. It's the decision making that is so bad. It's idiotic. I hate to just dump on the guy, but what was the thought process? Oh, Peak will probably get there. Let me just skate. Peak's in a foot race. You had a car's length lead. Go get the puck. You're a defenseman. Defend! I don't know. It's insane. It's constant with him. It's every shift. And I know that some of you that really like the guy, I can't get on board. I can't get on board with Zadorov. Every single game I'm sitting there being even his best games, there's 5 or 6 shifts. I'm like, that was unbelievably stupid. The guy is not a good defenseman. And we're paying him $30 million over the next 6 years. We won! Let's keep it positive. We won. It's fine. So we go into the second period. We're tied with this terrible team. But it's fine because we're closer to them than we are to the Cup contenders. And at least this year. And handful of minutes in, we get a power play. We're actually going to utilize it properly. It's a quick transition after they cleared the puck. We get up into the zone. Zacha makes a great play. He handles a really tough pass by Lindholm, which felt like a weird play, but right into the back of his skates. He's able to handle. He goes around the net, flicks it to Pasta. Pasta's trying to get it into the slot, bounces off a leg and in. It's 2-1, and the hockey gods are with us. Absolutely. We got a bounce. I mean, you shouldn't need a bounce to beat this team, but you got one. You take that, and you get a nice little lead here. And then you decide to do exactly what the Bruins would do. Exactly what the Bruins would do. Which is just give it up. Less than 2 minutes later, you have the puck. You're breaking out of your zone with very little pressure. And Zacha makes a poor pass to Beecher. And Beecher makes a poor play on the puck and turns it over on our blue line. It goes right back in. And they manage to beat Korpisalo on not a great shot. Yes, Korpisalo absolutely belongs with some blame here, but I mean, Korpisalo is who we expect him to be. All right, I'm not going to belabor that point. We know what Korpisalo is, and it's not a great goaltender. I know he started the season well enough. He has not been good for a long time now. Less than 2 minutes later, you give it right back off of a dumb, bad turnover. Beecher is doing everything within his power to make sure that he does not stay in this lineup. And it's brutal and it's soul-sucking. What makes it worse is you're tied, you get later in the period, and this time it's Wotherspoon. who you just don't like to dunk on, because Wotherspoon is like the greatest example of he's doing his best, but it's a bad turnover at the point, which means a fast transition the other way with people scrambling to get back. The shot's taken, and Carlo and Geeky aren't able to clear out the zone, and Zetterlund gets his own rebound and flicks it past Korpisalo. And it's 3-2. And the problem is you go into the third period with zero faith that you're winning the game against the San Jose Sharks. The 2025 San Jose Sharks. Awful. But then you start cooking. And, I mean, it was great play after great play. Coyle had a couple there with Patra having primary assists on both. Marchand and Lindholm get empty netters. I don't have, like, the notes breaking down all of these. But there's just... You're happy about the goal scoring. You're happy about the finishing ability late in the third and getting that win, getting things taken care of against a really bad team. You don't love the fact that midway through the third, we tie it up and then Marchand immediately takes an open ice battle with Celebrini away from the puck in the offensive zone and ends up getting called for a trip. Like, dude, you're the captain. You cannot be doing something like that. Like, you simply cannot put yourself in that position where you just got the game tied back up. Why are you putting them on the man advantage immediately? On a play that just didn't need to happen. It's just more of that stuff. Like, every feel-good thing you have, there's another thing that's, like, negative with it. But that's okay, because we won. We won. So let's talk about some positives and some negatives. Actual game notes. A little more structure here. First of all, Kastelic may be hurt again. After a Celebrini reverse hit, he did not return to the game. Only had about 7 minutes of ice time. So he just came back from a concussion. Maybe they're just taking it easy, but he might be out for a little while. The first person I want to point out, who I didn't even talk about so far, is Mason Lohrei, who was fantastic. He was quarterback in the power play, and he was excellent. He was strong defensively. He was really great in the transitional attack. He was confident when handling the puck. We need way more of these performances. What a fantastic night for him. And yes, I know who the competition is. I understand that. But Lohrei having these nights is hugely important to his development, hugely important to his confidence. It's going to take time with him. That defensive game is not going to get there for a while. And that offensive game, I think, is just going to get better and better. I am really excited about what Lohrei can be. But this was a great performance from him. And that was one of the joys to watch. When you're picking out things right now where you're like, this team might not make the playoffs. Let's find some things to enjoy watching. Mason Lohrei right now, man, what a game. That was really fun. But the guy that I'm really watching as a future pillar of our team potentially is Matthew Patra. It was a performance of highs and lows. Definitely had some poor turnovers. Overhandling the puck. Trying to toot too much in the offensive zone. He was also excellent in the offensive zone for the most part. With great vision, great offensive awareness. He absolutely made some plays that made a difference. He allowed us to keep the puck at times. And he had strong tape-to-tape, a foreign concept for this team, plays that allowed Coyle to finish them. This was a great game for Patra. 2 assists. He's now a point per game since coming back. 3 assists in 3 games. I'd love to see him use that shot a little bit more and get himself in a position to shoot, which is lacking in his ability right now. There's definitely some things that you're watching going, yeah, these are the weaknesses of his game. This is stuff I was well aware of when I was clamoring for him to come back up to the NHL. I knew he wasn't going to come up and immediately score a hat trick, but keep him in the top 6. He can make a tape-to-tape pass. He can create in the offensive zone. He is a player that I would like to leave in the top 6 at center. Let him work through some of the growing pains. We see the trajectory of the team. I know the NHL isn't a developmental league. That's bullshit. Every league is developmental. You're just at the very top aspect of that. So very few players are allowed to develop at this pace in this league. Let Patra do it. He's capable of it. He looks good. Leave him be in a top 6 role with at least one of Marchand or Pastrnak on his line with him. The Marchand, Coyle, Patra line, I'm down with Patra at center if we can keep him there. Please. Really positive stuff from him. Pasternak's on another level right now. I mean, I cannot be alone with how impressed I am of what he's doing with what he has to work with. Dude's been on fire. His line absolutely dominated. Geeky, Zaka, and him had a great game. They dominated every shift they played. See, these are positives. Absolutely handled the Sharks. They didn't score as much as the Patra line. But no, seriously, though, they were friggin' excellent. They were really great. Zadorov was another game note. Dude's a mess. Dude's an absolute mess. Dude's a mess. Fan engagement is another game note here. The final, like, I guess I left it with the negatives at the very end there. Real quiet building for a lot of this. And who can blame them? They were sitting there going, are we going to lose this game to the Sharks? Like, there's not a lot of faith to go around about this team right now. I mean, why should there? They've lost 8 of 10. Like, that's concerning. So, or 7 of 10. 7 of 10. Math. I was just surprised to hear the building so quiet. It was loud how quiet it was. Frustrating. And people should be frustrated. And I know that they're going to announce more price hikes next year, too. Because that is what this sport has turned into. Which is bullshit. But yeah, I was surprised to see that. But at the end of the day, I'm not blaming any fans. I get it. There's concern. There's not unwavering support and cheer because you literally are sitting there going, how are we going to lose this? I'm really glad they got the win. It's good for the team. I know there's some people at this point who are just rooting for losses so we can get farther down the standings. I would still love to see a push for the playoffs, but without being a buyer. Like, I just think it would be really funny if this team was in the playoffs. It's not the best thing for the future of the team, but I don't know, for my entertainment this year, it would be pretty funny. I feel good. I feel good with this win. I feel good with the Bruins being the Bruins. I feel good that Patra and Lori looked really dang good. Yeah, not much to be clever about in this one. This is one of those, we're going to start having a lot more games that are just like, all right, cool, we'll move on. That's what happens when you're not a contender and you're not picking apart every single part of your team and discussing all that stuff. And when you're not a bottom dweller where you're like focusing on every bit of development process. When you're in the middle, you just kind of chat about the team and see where they are and keep it rolling. Simple, right? Yeah. Go Bees. Go Bees! And now it's time to say thank you to the high-quality inspectors. I appreciate each and every one of you. There's over 100 of you at this point. And I love doing these thank yous at the end, but I think we're reaching such a volume that I have to rethink this strategy because you're all so incredible and so supportive. But this is getting really long, and there's got to be a better way, right? But let's start the thank yous, of course, with the top line tier. Dampen, Chris and Erica, Negev79, Trial Exotic, Jeff McGugan, Quackin' Platypus, Andrew Peterson, Sean Kreider, JM, Zenin Noel DeGuy, Donald Shelton, Anakin Palpatine, The Rat 63, Lola Cattingsworth, EKM Productions, Moonlighter TV, Big Bad Bruin, The Bugman, Adam Ella, Jeff with a G, Tommy Braga, Roland 22, GD Viperworks, Len Cruz, Brock Nope, Han Slomo, Coach D, The Atomic Lizard, Bradley Johnson, Brett Arney, Pincent, and Nick Zatrullo. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. You're absolute legends of this channel, and you're very appreciated. And now, of course, to our all-star tier members. Lorenzo Wood, Jake Brower, Penny Pasta, Levi Catalani, Boston Stringler, Bagel, JG's 12, Mark S., Jacob Pratt, Nightmare Eco, John Kirk, Ann Hustis, Joel, Heil E. Coyote, Darren Woodbury, Abraxion, Michael DePaulo, Wolf Warrior, Vinny, Adrian Winter, Tupton D. Tashi, Bruin Smash, DeKingery, The Only Newts, A Tasty Snack, Doots 42, and Jeremy. Absolute stallions, every single one. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for being a part of the channel. I cannot express my gratitude. Go Bees.